welcome back to my channel, Straight to Pixels. Hope you had an amazing week, and hope you have made some accomplishments in your perspective drawing or research. Today I wanted to speak on how I got into Art Center College of Design in Pasadena. And if you guys have no idea where Pasadena is at, it's near LA. And there's Pasadena, and then there's like Glendale, Burbank. I'm sure everybody's heard of Burbank. A lot of the studios are located there, like Disney, DreamWorks, Nickelodeon, and so on. So I wanted to kind of go over how I got started with that. I was attending school in San Francisco, at the Academy of Art in San Francisco, and I was a little bit disillusioned and a little bit disappointed, I guess you could say, because I expected don't get me wrong, the teachers are great, the staff is great. It was a little expensive, I'm not gonna lie to you. Art schools are expensive, and most of the students attending the school were like basically taken care of by their parents. They're paying full ride for the 4 years, and I was doing it solo, so I wasn't playing. I was really like interested in having a really strong portfolio when I got out of the art school, and I was getting some instructors were amazing, but I noticed the energy, the vibe of the students. I hate just to be talk down on them, but at the time it was very hippy dippy. Everybody was not really into it. They're kind of like, I remember a guy commenting to me once saying, as long as he got a D and he passed the class, he was okay, A-okay. And I was kind of like, what? Because that was my mindset in high school. Like, whatever, as long as I pass. I didn't care about flying colors, A+ or anything like that. It was like I was too busy, doing graffiti and doing that lifestyle. That school kind of fell on the side. And now I was like, no, I want to have something to prove, not just to myself, but to my parents, and to all the haters also, that I was going to accomplish something with my art ability. So when the students were kind of too relaxed and too, like in the party mode, I wasn't feeling it. And so I kind of remember having an instructor. His name was John. His name is John Clapp. I took his perspective class, and I took his figure drawing class, and both classes were amazing. And I was really impressed with his skill level and how he could really articulate a lot of his concepts. And I was impressed. Like I said, other instructors were great too, but he stuck out from the rest a little bit, and I was intrigued. And so I took a few of his classes, not like by choice. I think it just fell that way. It fell into place that way. And I remember we became friends, and so I started talking to him because I just started picking his brain, asking questions. Then one day I just asked him, because I was disappointed in the students. So I asked him one day, where did you attend? Like, what school did you go to? Did you go here? Did you go to the academy? And he said, no, I went to school down south, Art Center College of Design in Pasadena. And I'm like, I never heard of that. Like, where is that? Where is Pasadena? All I know is the Bay, in New York, But I'm like, I heard of other cities, but I never heard of Pasadena. I was young. I think I was 20. So he was like, oh, so I was next to LA, and I lived in Eagle Rock. I have no clue. I have no idea of Southern California. I just know LA. That's it. I don't know where anything else in San Diego. I have no idea where anything else is at. And he really took me under his wing. Was like, you know what? So I kept asking questions, and then I just finally said, I want to go to school where you went, And he said, oh, Art Center. And I said, yeah, I want to do that. And he said, well, it's in LA. And I was like, okay, well, how did you get in? Like, what do I do? What do I need to do? And I was honest with them because he asked why, and I said, well, one, I see your skill level. I'm impressed by it, and also I like how you teach. And then number three, I kind of want a more serious environment. I feel like I'm in high school still, and I don't I don't have any sponsors behind me. Like I'm self-made, so there's no my parents are not behind me. I whatever money I make goes into my classes and to live. So I'm like living off peanut butter jelly sandwiches. Every little money I save, I don't even buy a car because everything I saved I would put for classes. And then he's like, all right, you're serious. And I said, yeah, I am serious. I want to have a career after I graduate. I don't want to be living off my parents. I don't want to go back home because I briefly mentioned my house was hostile, my household. So let's say that's for a different day. But I didn't want to go back home, and I didn't want to come back to San Jose as a failure. And because I was getting a lot of hate, like, oh, you're going to another school, you're taking another class, like, what are you gonna do with your life, blah, yada yada. So I was like, I'm ready. I'm hungry. I felt like a boxer coming up, training, he just keeps getting better and better. And I was just like, I need to do something. I need to get a knockout. So he saw my hunger and was like, okay, I'll help you get into Art Center College of Design if you're serious only. I don't want you to just like, yeah, I'm interested, but then not do anything. He goes, I will back you. I will show you how to get in. He goes, but you have to put the work in. You have to put the effort in. You cannot, blow me off. He goes, if we're gonna meet, we're gonna meet. And if I say do this, do it. I need you to be like that. And I said, yes, I'll do it. I said, I want to get out of my situation. I already got out of San Jose. Now I want to be in a better place after I graduate, and I don't think I'm going to graduate from the academy. I'm not feeling it. And that's when he said, all right, let's do it. And we got started. And when I mean we got started, is basically we made a schedule to meet every few months. He would give me an assignment. He'd be like, okay, let's get together. Let's look at your portfolio. So we did that first. He looked at my portfolio. He edited my portfolio, and he took out different things. And he kept telling me okay, this is not strong enough. You need to take this out. I know you love this because it's in your book, but I'm telling you right now, it doesn't show me your strength. There's other things in your book that are stronger. So remove it. And he goes, do not be attached to anything. Be ready to shuffle around your pages, because if something's not working or it's not flowing, you just got to remove it. You can't be in love with it. So I said, okay. And so he did that. And after one round, he told me, okay, you need some more figure drawing in here. Oh, you need a tight drawing of, perspective, or you need an original painting. He just kept giving me all these tips, looking at every single page. And I'm like, keep this, remove this, keep this, have 2 pages of this. So he just kept doing that. And then I said, okay. And then we met again 2-3 months later, the same thing. I said, okay, I got this is new. I put this one in here. What do you think? And he'd be like, yes, no, yes, no. And he goes, okay, now you're missing this. You need some, life drawing, or you need some head drawings, or you need some still lifes, or you need, just something. Give me an original piece of yours, an original art piece. So I kept doing that for probably 6 months. And then finally, at the end, he said, this is a really strong portfolio. That's the 3rd time we met. This is really strong. He goes, I think you have an opportunity to get in if you're serious about it. And I said, I am serious about it. I said, I don't want to be around these high school kids. They're still in high school, and they have the time to play around because their parents are paying for everything. And I'm paying it for myself. So it's costing me. I go to work, I take my homework, I go to school, I pay for my classes, I go to work. It's just but I'm I want to get to the next level. And I feel I'll probably end up doing this for 20 years, and I can't do that. I want to make some changes. So I applied. He told me, where to apply. I wrote a letter. And my girlfriend at the time helped me edit it. He looked at it as well, and then I sent everything in. He said, "You're ready to go," and I submitted it. And there's only a certain time you submit, so I submitted during that time. I met the deadline. I think 3 months went by. I didn't hear a word. I'm like, oh, I didn't get in. And that's another thing he told me. He said, don't expect to get in the first time around. He said, don't expect to get in the first time around. He goes, I had friends that I went to school with, and it took them like 3 times to get in. 3 times. He said, so they got rejected, and then they applied again. 6 months later, they got rejected again, they applied again. It took them like 1.5 years to get in. So he said, so expect that. That might happen to you. He goes, because it has happened, and does happen. But you can't be discouraged. You have to just say, okay, I got a rejection, I got to get up again, do it again, and rework my portfolio, make it happen. And I said, okay. So he prepared me for that. He was like, now that you know you might get rejected, just be okay with that, and then just submit again, and we'll rework your portfolio again until you get in. I said, okay, I'm down for that. Let's do it. So I'd say, 3 months pass. I didn't hear a word. I get a letter in the mail finally, and I'm freaking out. I can't even read it. I'm so stressed. I'm like, oh God, I got rejected. Here it is. And it was like in this nice silver package, It's a design school, so it's all fancy. It's like a transparent paper inside, all kinds of stuff. But anyways, I couldn't read it. I had my girlfriend open it, and then she read it to me and basically said I got accepted, and congratulating me in my acceptance letter to Art Center College of Design, one of the top art schools in the country. And I'm like, whoa, what the heck? What the heck? So I was freaking out. I didn't know what to do, because now I have to move to LA, and during the time, this is like 1993 at the time. No, it was 94. It was now 1994, because I've been going to the academy since 92. So that was 94, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like now I have to transfer credits. I have to do all that paperwork. I have to apply for the Cal grant, because I'm qualified now, because I actually qualified because I was outside my parents' thumb. And I had to find a place to live. It was, financial aid. It was a lot of stuff to do and prepare. And I had never moved that far. And I always heard stories about LA, scary LA with gangs, more gangs than San Jose. So I was all great. I'm like gonna get off the bus and I'm gonna get attacked by some gang members. So I was a little bit like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna go from like the pan into the fire kind of concept. My girlfriend was very sweet, and she's like, you know what? It's a great opportunity. You should do it. You should take it. I'll help you get set up. Help you move. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, okay, because I kind of wanted to postpone it. I think you could postpone it. I'm not sure if it's a year, but she's like, no, just do it. Like, you're in. You got momentum. Like, go for it. And then I was like, what about you? And she's like, yeah, I'm kind of fumbling around, not sure where I want to go with my schooling and my education. So where you already have a straight path, like this is opportunity, you should just take it, So I was like, all right, okay, cool. So I went for it. And don't get me wrong, it was scary, because I was like 6 hours away driving. I had never been that far away from my house, from my neighborhood, from the Bay Area. So to me, moving from San Jose to Berkeley was already a big deal. And that was already like 45-minute drive. So to me, that was huge. And so I really love the Bay. Like, I love San Francisco. I was living in Berkeley. I was working in Oakland. I was going to school in San Francisco. So it's like, I grew up in San Jose. So it was like all there, And now I was like, it wasn't all there. I had to like completely go to a different area, didn't know the neighborhoods. didn't know where everything was at. It was really huge. Like when I got to LA, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is just like sprawling, just concrete sprawling. And it all looks the same. All these little plazas and like houses, it all looks the same. Like it looks like it was built at the same time. And I'm sure it was because it just has that same design, 40s, 50s style, all over the place. So you really have to pay attention because I'm like, wait, it looks familiar. No, it's not. It's a different area, but it all looks the same. But anyways, and it just keeps going on and on and on and on. So yeah, so I did make the move, and I guess this really comes to for people who are like scared to make a huge move, like, oh, I don't want to leave my neighborhood, I don't want to leave my city, and I get that because I didn't want to do that either. I wouldn't have if it wasn't for all the drama, that I was dealing with. I used to get major headaches at home. I'm not gonna get into the whole thing, maybe next story. But like I said, my house was hostile. I had to leave. My home was just a hostile. It wasn't a safe haven. I think that's why I went to the streets because I found the streets safer than my house. So yeah, so that was my motivation to leave San Jose, and then leaving Berkeley or the whole Bay. My motivation was I wanted a school that was gonna really give me the tools that I needed to get a career and make a good living. And that was my goal at that point. And so when I told my instructor that, we got my book ready and I got accepted, I had to do it. So, and with the support of my girlfriend and her family, I was able to do that. And it was 4 years. I would take summers off because it was too expensive to go all the way through. And my grants and scholarships only covered so many expenses. And my girlfriend and her mom really like stepped up. My girlfriend got a job and she basically paid the rent. And then the mom would like fill up my refrigerator with food. Like she'd come visit and she would just fill it up to the top. Like just like was like food was falling out when you open the refrigerator because then the food would last a few months. Because it was a struggle, I couldn't work. I had to like focus on my studies, and like I said, I really wanted to do this. I really wanted to accomplish it, and they believed in me, and I'm really, I'm grateful for that, for their support, and their help, and her name's Sabina Dominguez, and her mom's Dahlia, and they really came through during that time for me. So I just want to say thanks for that. And I appreciated that. Yeah, and then when school started, I mean, I was stressed, I had to find the campus. I wanted to make sure I was going to the right place. I did all that. And they told us at orientation that, they said, look to your left, look to your right. They said, we have a high ratio of students dropping out for many reasons. He goes, but most likely the person to the left or the person to the right might not be here at the end of the 4 years. They might drop out for whatever reasons. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I started getting scared. Like, oh my God, what is this? It felt very military style, like it's like art boot camp. They call it art boot camp. And so, and they were right. They were right. A lot of people filled out, started strong and just started dropping off every year. So I didn't finish with everybody that I started with, some people dropped out because it was too expensive. Some people dropped out because they had to move. Some people had to drop out. I remember one guy was Greek. He had to go to the military, so he had to drop out and go to the military. There was a guy that was, always smoking stuff, and he dropped out because he couldn't do his homework. It was just too much for him. He was in that party mode mentality, and he just couldn't pull it off. So you really had to be like strict with yourself. You really had to be focused. You really had to be driven, ambitious, and hardworking to get through Art Center and College of Design. So I did my best, every task that I got, every assignment, I did my best. And something my instructor told me before I got to Art Center, he said, and you guys could take this with you guys as well. Like I said, he shared this personally with me, saying, look, like you're gonna have like 18 to 21 units. you have 6, 7 classes, you're gonna have to, you can't focus on one class. You're going to have to divide your time into each class and kind of, you know, I know you want to spend 8 hours in figure drawing, but you might have to do 4, you know. I know you want to do, you know, landscape painting and spend 12 hours, you might have to do 6. He goes, because you're going to divide your time. There's only so many hours in a day, 24 hours in a day. You're going to have to divide your time in all your assignments. He goes, he goes, people have made that mistake that where they just focus on one class, and then all the other classes, basically, they don't do well because they focused on one and let the other ones go, either because they weren't as interested, or they didn't, you know, they didn't like the assignment, or they didn't like the teacher, or whatever, like all these reasons, or was it their forte? So he said, like, really try to like scatter your hours throughout and balance it out. And I did, you know, and some assignments I was like disappointed because I wanted to put a little extra punch, a little extra, you know, vibrancy, and I just couldn't get to it, you know, or I couldn't do it. So, you know, but as the years went by, I got better and better at it, balancing my time. I think I did pretty good in the beginning, but I just kept getting better and better. And then I started basically getting assignments to kind of like cover 2 assignments. So like you covered 2 things, you killed 2 birds with 1 stone kind of concept. So that's another thing. And killing 2 birds with 1 stone was more towards the end, like my last year, because I started realizing I have to build a portfolio. I have all these cool art, I have the cool illustrations, cool paintings, cool drawings, but I have to gear it now towards the career I want. And now I know what I want. I want to be a background designer. So I started to do my kind of drawings that were like tonal drawings, and then kind of designed for feature films. So I started doing, but I would have like a line drawing. I have thumbnails and with different lighting situations, and then I have like a finished piece. I started doing that and kind of getting that portfolio to be strong now for my career-wise. So I had 1 portfolio for entry for school. Now I have an exiting portfolio for entry to the studios, and that was a different process. While in Art Center, something you have to realize is that if art school is expensive and it's challenging, and you really need to focus, and you need to have a concept of like an idea of what you want to do after you graduate. Because I feel like some people didn't, and they kept fumbling around after art school. And there's other people who knew exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to either be storyboard artists, or they want to be a concept artist, or they wanted to do, you know, character design for video games, whatever it is. They had a strong idea, and that's what they did after they graduated. Like I said, I wanted to be a background designer, and that's what I did. So you have to kind of figure that out while you're in art school. And because when you first start art school, the first couple of years, it's all fundamentals. And what I mean by fundamentals is like learning about, you know, basic drawing, learning about shading, learning about how to make something look 3D, learning of perspective, learning how to, you know, how the muscles work on the body, you know, the anatomy of a face, you know, how to set up composition, how to illustrate, how to design your own character, you know, like I started learning all these things. And then the second 2 years is you start kind of finding your style, you start kind of figuring out what direction you want to go, you know, what career you want to, you know, go after. And so that's when you start putting together. And then your last year, you really hone in on it, like 100 miles an hour kind of concept. So you have to be open-minded to what the instructors are teaching you, because you're kind of building yourself, you know, you're kind of like putting badges on your chest. You get all these medals, and as you get to the higher level, you're like ready to go, you know, you've accomplished all these levels. Now you're able to go for what you need to do. It's like you're training, and now you're fully trained and you're ready to hit the scene. So you have to be open-minded and hardworking, and don't be stuck in your ways. So like, don't draw what you draw before you came into art center. I mean, to go to art school. Try to learn and add to yourself. So when you get out, your art is completely different. You know, like you evolved while you're there. You know, instead of being stuck in one way and then coming out being the same guy. So just remember that. Be a sponge and soak it all in. And some of you might not understand why you're doing it. You're like, what does that have to do with anything? And later on, you realize it. Later on, you realize, oh wow, that's what that meant. Or that's what. Oh, I could use this way now. So, anyways, be open-minded. I hope those tips help. Again, if you want to go to art school, I have to take those tips. Nowadays, you have tons of what do you call it? You can research a lot of stuff pretty quickly online, and there's different people giving you different tips, different ideas. This my experience as, like I said, years ago. I was talking about years ago, before the internet. I mean, the internet was around, but it was before it was a common thing. You know, I mean, before YouTube and all that. So, but just kind of, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, listen to my advice. You know what I mean? Like, take that in, and then you could do your own research and kind of take what I'm giving you and what you find, and then combine it to what works for you. So take what works for you and go for it. I know it's scary. Like I said, I had people support me at the end. So you guys need to have, it helps to have somebody, and like my immediate family didn't support me. So it was my girlfriend's family who did, her mom and her. And that helped, you know, having my teacher, John Clapp, guide me helped as well. So it's like just finding somebody who's willing to give you a little bit of time or some advice. And like I said, I'm giving you guys advice, and that should help you. You know what I mean? Just listen to it and take it in. And like I said, take what resonates with you. And maybe something later will click in later as you're in it. But it's just kind of like finding people who support you, believe in you, and can guide you and give you advice of something either you didn't think about, or just something that you knew, but now it's nice to hear it again. So anyways, so I hope it helps. I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you for coming to my channel. Please subscribe and give me a like, and if you give me a comment, even better. I like that. I do read my comments, and some make me laugh, some are funny, and some are good, and some make me smile because I like that people are getting something from it, or they like what I'm saying. I'm here to help. Like I said, I'm here to share my life. I'm here to share, give some advice. I'm here to share my knowledge. I'm here to be, I guess, like a support, to everyone, to anyone that wants to hear what I have to say and likes what I'm saying. Even if you don't like what I'm saying, or you disagree, it's okay. We all have different paths, and we all come from different backgrounds. And sometimes people don't see certain things, or sometimes people grow and then they go, oh, I was wrong, but admitting when you're wrong is huge. But also knowing when you did something right and sharing it with others, your knowledge is wisdom. Sharing the wisdom to me is wise and also beneficial to humanity. So I just want to say, I hope I help in one way or another. And like I said, I just want to give back. Anyways, have a lovely, awesome week. Bye. Next time, we're going to go over the perspective drawing that I did. Thank you.